I've got a few stories my uncle shared with me and his time in Vietnam. I'll share them here, in no particular order, and you can read them and hopefully enjoy them. These are stories he told me. Everything is his words, or as close to his words as I recall. My uncle served in Vietnam. He was a weapons expert who worked on bombers. His base was a few miles from the airstrip, so every morning he took a transport to the airstrip. He had to walk, he says, about a mile one way, turn left and walk another mile to get to his transport. One day, he was running late and didn't want to miss his transport, so he decided to cut across a field that was in the center. He ran over, hopped the barbed wire, and cut across the field. He came out the other side. He didn't know exactly where he was, and there was a Marine directing traffic. He walked up to the Marine who was facing the other way, tried yelling out to him, but there were too many engines, and the Marine couldn't hear him. My uncle tapped him on the leg, which really scared the guy. "Where the hell did you come from? I was watching these roads all day and didn't see you." "I came from back there," pointed over his shoulder. "Not possible. Where did you come from?" "Look, I hopped the barbed wire and cut across this field right." He dashed. My uncle turned to see a sign labeled "Minefield, stay clear." He turned back to the Marine and went. There wasn't a sign on the other side. There was barbed wire on the other side. What I think is just great is whenever my uncle tells this story to another vet, at the VA or out at a restaurant, whenever he says barbed wire, they respond with, "Aw man, a minefield. How do you know that?" Because they put barbed wire up. Why else would there be barbed wire? The airfield my uncle worked on was surrounded by minefields. One day they had a plane that was making an emergency landing. One of its engines was on fire, and it was coming in hot. The plane put down its landing gear, but came in too hard and too fast. They just broke on impact. The plane skidded across the runway. One of the crew bailed. He broke several bones and barely lived. The plane skidded off the runway and into the minefield. It hit one of the mines, which killed everyone still on board. A different day, a bomber was coming back from a bombing run, and one of its bombs was rolling around loose. It was armed and caught on its tether. They managed to successfully land the plane, but no one wanted to go near it, fearing it would go off. They couldn't land anything with a plane ready to explode on its runway. My uncle just arrived on the airfield and was quickly briefed on the situation, and he went, "Well, why are you telling me? Go tell whoever's in charge." "Well, sir, you're the only one trained with these bombs on the airfield today. That puts you in charge." My uncle thought about it a minute and went, "Well, the manual says I don't give a damn about the manual. What do you think we should do?" "Well, it goes against the manual, but our best option I think would be to reattach the tether. That will unarm the bomb and put it back on safety." So, my uncle carefully walked up to the plane, saw it was just dangling there on its tether, very carefully grabbed it, untangled it, and reclipped it to the tether. My uncle's base was shelled once. 2 shells landed within feet of him. The first hit the barracks he was sitting in directly, however it was a dud. The second hit 2 feet to the side of where he was sitting, but sunk deep into the mud, so all it did was just splatter dirt everywhere. My uncle transported a nuclear warhead across northeast U.S. once. It was winter, I forget the year. Everything was fine most of the journey, however they had a hill leading into the base. He was given orders to keep it at a certain speed. I think he said it was like 35 miles per hour. He had a Humvee full of soldiers in front of him, a Humvee of soldiers behind him, and a soldier with a rifle next to him, who was sleeping. Well, they hit the hill and were coming down into the base, and my uncle hit ice. The trailer started sliding on the ice and was trying to pass the truck, so my uncle hit the gas trying to even it out. My uncle almost hit the lead Humvee and passed them. The soldier next to him woke up and pointed his rifle at him. My uncle went, "Shoot," and we're all fucking dead. The soldier looked at the trailer and realized what was happening and lowered his gun. They entered the base going 70. Once they were at the bottom, my uncle managed to get it all under control and parked the truck. The commander of the base approached him and pointed a pistol at my uncle. "What the hell was that? Are you trying to get us all killed?" No, sir. Tell me, which of your men was supposed to put the salt down on that hill? The commander walked away for a few minutes, yelled at some men, then came back and apologized. My uncle was on an airfield somewhere in the U.S. He never told me where, but one night, it was late, he stepped outside for a smoke and noticed the runway wasn't lit, which wasn't normal. They normally had the landing lights on 24/7. He walked closer and saw a large dark object landing on the runway. It turned into a bunker with no lights on, and they closed the doors. My uncle just thought to himself, I don't think I was supposed to see that, and kept it to himself. About a month later, they revealed the State Route 71 Blackbird. He thinks that's what he saw.